Manch.
They played this so much at the Garden today.
I can only imagine. Go to the playoffs, go! Go to the playoffs, go!
After we won too, they played it. It's insane vibes.
But they're playing the new one, right? They're not playing the one from... This is from 1999. That's why we can play it without having any copyright hits.
Wait, there's two?
I think they've done this song on and off again, like, multiple times throughout the years.
It sounds like this one.
The beginning is the same, but the words are different, though. Like, if you're listening to the one I just played, it talks about Allen Houston and, like, talks about Indiana, who were, like... Yeah, so it's, like, not...
Oh, yeah, they didn't actually play, like, the rap part. It was just Go New York, like, over and over.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense. It's like an instrumental. Mill, what's up? You went to the game today. You saw a wild and crazy game 82.
It was insane. Honestly, like, I don't know how my heart is still okay after that because it was just going up and down. I was screaming to the top of my lungs. Mentally, I don't know how I am, but after we got the win, that was just incredible to watch. Our 50th. I was really nervous we weren't going to get the win because apparently I'm bad luck. Every game I've gone to this season, we've lost. So I thought I was going to be the bad luck again and, you know, be the reason we don't get the second seed, be the reason we don't get 50 wins. But
so if we lost, we could have blamed you.
Yeah, basically. There's already some people, like I'm in a little bit of a Knicks group chat. I already told people that I have bad history of going to Knicks games, so they would have blamed me right away.
You can't admit that. You just gotta lie to everyone. Be like, yeah, whenever I've gone, we're like 17-3 in the games I've gone to. I'm like basically as good as OG Anunoby is, but as a fan, you know. So like, just definitely like, if I'm there, bet on the Knicks. You know, like I make us win personally.
Yeah, I'll start lying.
There you go. No one will know. You know, sales is sales. Was this the first time you went to a game and it was overtime? That had to be crazy.
Yeah, because I think we've only had a few, like, this was probably our second time going overtime this season, right?
Yes.
I remember the first one, the Spurs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they mentioned that was the first one of the season, which is like kind of surprising to me. I really like it though that we haven't had too many this season because again, my heart cannot handle that. Like that would be too much. So that's why the fact that it happened today, yeah, I was like going crazy. I really wanted Brunson to hit the game winner. It just like it started
against Caruso in the corner.
Yeah, that was a really difficult shot though. Like I didn't want him to take that shot. I wanted it to be somewhere else. I feel like the last time he had to attempt a game winner, it was a similar shot like that in the corner, and
against the Thunder,
yeah, and it didn't go in again. But you know, we went into overtime. They took care of business. It's all good.
That is all that matters. It is all good. They won 120-119 against the Chicago Bulls. Since you were there, like, did everyone know once the Bucks lost or were losing? Like, did the vibes change a little bit? Like, Cleveland was up like 8 going into the 4th of their game against the Hornets, the lowly Hornets, and then they end up losing that game. So then third is clinched well before the Knicks are even done. And then afterwards, like around the same time, it's like the Bucks go from being in a 4-point game to down 20 to Orlando. So like, did the vibe and the crowd around you change? Was it like, oh damn, we definitely got 3, we could definitely get 2? Like Milwaukee is losing. Like, do you know if the message even got like to Tibbs or like to the bench for the players to know after a while that like this game definitely 100% is worth winning, even if like we do go to overtime?
Yeah, so I wasn't keeping track of the other games going on. I was just watching, you know, the game in front of me. I knew the other ones were going on and I wanted to check them, but I just didn't have time with how close this game was and how intense it was. They didn't announce anything until the very end when we won the game. They said, you know, this was our 50th win of the season and the Knicks just clinched the second seed. So I'm pretty sure that's when everyone in the arena knew if they weren't keeping track themselves. But definitely like, I was like, wait a second, like we got second because I wasn't checking the other ones. So felt crazy to hear that. From the team, I don't know if they received an update like that. That'd be hard to say. Like, I don't know if they'd want to receive an update like that. You know,
It would
in
just take someone in the front row to be like, "Yo, by the way, the Bucks lost."
oh
So
yeah, it's definitely possible. Definitely. Um, it could have changed the momentum. At one point, we went down, I think, like 6 points. What was that in the fourth quarter? Possibly.
late third,
Um,
yeah, before they started making threes.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So, hearing something like that definitely could have changed the momentum, and it did feel like things changed at one point, and um, luckily we were able to get back on top and then force overtime.
And you got to see, Jalen Brunson drop 40 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists. He did have 4 turnovers. Him, DiVincenzo, and OG combined for what is that? 14 out of a team's 21 turnovers. So definitely one of the worst games handling the ball for the Knicks this year. And but it was very weird because in the first half, like it did seem like Chicago had more momentum again, the same as the first game this year. DeMar DeRozan ends up with 30 points. Nikola Vucevic, who is another stretch big that we just like always have trouble handling, ends up with 29 points, made a couple threes in the first half. Were you worried at some point? Like, damn, we
Oh
are
yeah.
going to lose this game. And like, at what point did you finally feel the momentum switch?
Yeah, I definitely was worried, and it's I just mentioned it when we went down by 6. That's when I felt the most worried because the clock was ticking. It's not like we had a lot of time left to. It worried me that we would have gone down further by 10 points, and I told my sister I was like, we can't go down by more than 10 points, or it's going to be really hard to climb back up. So I'd say that was when I was the most worried and nervous. Like, I don't usually feel like too nervous during Knicks games because most of them don't hold this much weight. Like I said before, I wasn't checking the other games, so I didn't realize like, oh, like we're good because I still thought they kept saying if we lose this game, there's a possibility with the other outcomes we could become fourth in the Eastern Conference, and I did not want that at all. To go from possibly getting the second to fourth, I didn't want that. So I was I was really nervous. But like, yeah, I felt like the momentum switched after we were able to climb back up from that 6 point deficit right there and then it just felt like they were actually hitting their shots, and I think there was a three. It was just like it's like so I'm like still trying to process it all in my head, but so many big plays down the stretch. But you just mentioned it, the turnovers were insane. I mean, 21 on the game, is that right?
21, yeah. And again, 14 was by OG, Dante, and Brunson on their own.
Wait, 14 on OG?
No, 6 on OG, 4 on
Oh,
Brunson, 4 on Dante. So
oh, okay.
the 3 of them had 14 of the 21.
Yeah. Ugh. It was hard to watch, especially down the stretch when you see those turnovers late game when you can't be turning over the ball. So it was really rough, and especially the Josh Hart one right at the end there that gave the Bulls the ball with a chance to basically win it. I mean, I felt so nervous in that moment when he messed up. I was screaming at him, and I know I'm all the way like at the Chase Bridge. He couldn't hear me, but I'm just like I'm screaming at him. What are you doing? Like, what happened? It felt so
Agreed.
sloppy.
Shout,
But
shout out to everyone in the chat so far. We got Eric, JJ, Almighty Finesse, Knicks Nation, LB So Wavy, AP. New York Forever has a great question. And Mill, I want to ask you this since you were there. Great win today. Why do the Bulls always try so hard when it doesn't matter for them? Were you and anyone around you guys surprised? Like the Bulls have had the 9 seed locked up for 3 games. Like they, in essence, could have rested every player. Like they could have just done what the Mavericks did today, rest all their important players and lose the game by 50, and it wouldn't affect them at all for what they
yeah,
have to do when they play the Hawks for their 9-10 play-in. Were you surprised when they announced their full starting roster? And like, at what point were you like, oh, they're not doing what the Celtics did? Like, they're trying to win this game. This isn't like the Celtics half-assing it for a half and then trying in the third quarter for some reason.
honestly, I think that, and I said this as a joke, but I think it's like their NBA finals in a way. Like this game,
Like the
or every
Nets.
time we've played them this past week, it's been their NBA finals. Um, they're a play-in team, right? They're ninth, you said.
Yeah, they had the 9th seed locked
Yeah,
up
so
for like 3 games.
they're playing team. It's not like their season ended. They're just playing because it's the last game, and I don't really know why they go out there and play so hard. I mean, it really looks like they're playing in the NBA Finals, just the way they've been playing so hard. Like, we're a 2 seed team, and they're obviously number 9, but with the way they're playing, they were actually able to compete against us. They fought hard. You really can't tell that they're a 9 seed. Like, you really can't.
No, you
But
can't.
I'm honestly not sure why they go so hard at us. And it's been tough because it's been 3 times within the last week. So I feel bad for our Knicks players to be going through that like so often in this past week. And with the Celtics too, who could have rested their guys, they had to deal with that. But it comes with being a great team. You got to beat everyone.
Agreed. 100%. Almighty Finesco's, he's talking to JJ, but this is going to be what we're talking about through a lot of the thing. I don't want to get to it yet. I want to talk about like other stuff, talk about the game with you until like 10:15, 10:20. Then we'll get into the meat and gritty of like, do we want to play the Heat or the Sixers? AP goes, is this Knicks team, like I says nicotine, that's a very funny typo. Is this Knicks team comparable to the early 90s teams, the Chicago Bulls, the first three-peat? OG is our Scottie Pippen. Does that mean Precious Achua is like the really, really poor man's version of Dennis Rodman? Uh, I don't think Jalen Brunson's comparable to Michael Jordan, unfortunately, but he is going to be a top 5 MVP vote getter, so that's awesome. He's been garnering a lot of Jalen Iverson, Jesus Christ, State from Harlem, Allen Iverson comparisons. He's been garnering quite a bit of Derrick Rose. There's a lot of Luol Deng for OG Anunoby, obviously, because of Tibbs being the coach now and stuff like that. So I'm not going to tell you to try to figure out whether this team compares to a team before you were born, Mill. But for this Knicks team, this Knicks iteration of like this one star, borderline heliocentric, not quite Luka Doncic, James Harden level heliocentric, but like the ball's in his hands 90% of the time. They just have shooters and defense around him. Like if you were to name a team more recently that you would compare this Knicks team to, do you have one or two in mind?
Let's think. That's tough. I think that's really tough because, obviously we know Jalen Brunson as like our superstar now. Some people still don't want to give him that credit though, so they won't call him a superstar and they'll still say we need another superstar. But it seems like looking back at the most recent championship wins, there's always one very, very like reliable superstar on that team. I mean, Jokic most recently, and then you go back to the dynasty eras between Steph Curry, who is obviously like incredible, and then LeBron. I mean, those are how do I put it? Like obviously they're superstars.
They're like all 10, top 12 great players of all time.
Yeah, so not everyone sees Jalen Brunson as a superstar. So, I mean, I don't know who I'd compare this Knicks team to. I saw someone compare us to the Warriors, which is really funny because like I wouldn't get ahead of ourselves and say them, but again, I can see it in a way that we do have some players that are similar and that we could have the 3-point shooting. We haven't seen it displayed in the playoffs yet, but we do have the weapons. I was talking about this before. We have Jalen Brunson, who's obviously a great 3-point shooter. Dante DiVincenzo, the best 3-point shooter, of all time, probably in Knick history. Bogdanovich, Deuce, who can shoot it really well. OG. I feel like we have a lot of 3-point snipers, and that does remind me of Golden State in a way. But Golden State is like a dynasty, and they're just in their own thing. So I don't know. Who would you compare this team to?
Part of me goes to like Dame with the Blazers the one time they made the Western Conference Finals, but they didn't really play a lot of defense. Like the third or fourth best player was Enes Kanter, who, as we know from Knicks fans, like did not play a lick of defense inside. So I don't think that's really too comparable. And then part of me wants to think of like a lot. Offensively, I like think of Harden. I think of Dame. Like I think of the same. Like the ball is always in their hands. So, like I want to say the Rockets. I want to say the Blazers. But like they just didn't play defense like at all. So then defensively, I want to think of like like both sets of two Pistons, like in the early 2000s and the late 80s. It's like kind of similar. And then where I just had it up. Bob and AP, who are both of our two of our listeners that have actually been they watched basketball before you and I because they're older than us. Brunson compares to Joe Dumars in the Finals MVP, and so the back-to-back Pistons years in the late '80s, Isaiah Thomas won one, and then Joe Dumars won one. And obviously, Isaiah Thomas was the one that had the ball more, and he was more of an attacker inside. Joe Dumars better at shooting and distributing, but I do think Brunson has like a phenomenal inside post game. And like the mid range was more of where Joe did work. Isaiah tried to get all the way inside amongst the trees and go from there. And I do like this comparison from him having the ball and then being able to like distribute to the guys around him and then just having a bunch of hard asses like Bill Laimbeer, etc., just to like actually take care of the defense. If I was to go like a little more modern with the defensive comparison, I think the Raptors actually, the 1 year that Kawhi won, OG was on that team, but he didn't even play after he got his appendectomy his rookie year. But they had Pascal Siakam, they have Kawhi Leonard, they have Fred VanVleet harassing people outside, which is very like Deuce or Dante like. So yeah. I would say offensively like Harden and then defensively like the Raptors with Kawhi.
I like that comparison, especially defensively.
And then OG was already there. So, I mean, it kind of helps out a little bit, even though he didn't play half the time.
He's the Kawhi now of that team.
The defensive Kawhi, not OG. OG still can't really dribble the ball more than 4 times before it either gets stripped or it hits off his own foot.
Oh, no. It happens so much today. I mean, you already mentioned his turnovers.
Yes. And then, and for what it's worth, Josh Hart, not a comparable person on that team, but every single team that like wins the title ends up having someone like Josh Hart or like Bruce Brown or someone like that. That's just like a tweener guard forward that like just fills in all the space and the hard work that you need someone to dive on the ball and like push the pace and everything like that. So this team, Knicks Nation goes, this team reminds me of Toronto when they won their first title. Yeah, a couple years ago, exactly.
I
wrote the Steve Nash Suns as well, which I don't think we moved that quickly. Like, this team wants to be a little more deliberate. We got the 2016 Celtics had Marcus Smart, Avery Bradley, Jay Crowder, Al Horford. I think our team's a little better offensively than that, but I do like Al Horford can definitely fill in like Isaiah Hartenstein. Obviously, Horford can shoot better from 3 and actually takes threes, but similar inside. Jay Crowder. Jay Crowder is like a linebacker that plays basketball. And Avery Bradley would fit into like the Dante Deuce mold, just taller.
Yeah. He reminds me like similar type of players, just a little bit different.
Agreed. Almighty goes, I think OG can become a second option. Mill, we talked about this last week. I mean, a couple days ago, once we get to the playoffs, I guarantee you, Phil, what up? How's it going? Phil, Knicks Morning Brew. Good to see you, man. AP's right. Hit those likes, share, subscribe. I always forget to say that stuff. But we were literally saying, like, there might be a game that Deuce is the second leading scorer. There's probably a game or two that Bogey's the second leading scorer. Same thing with Dante, Hart, maybe Hart one time. Like, OG, I would expect Dante and OG to be the two most second leading scorers on our team, but it's clearly Jalen Brunson, and then at least 2 guys fill a role every game.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. Like, it could literally be either Dante, OG, or Deuce in the playoffs. Because, on a night like tonight, it was Dante who stepped up behind Brunson. He had 20... What did he have? Let me see here. He had 25 behind Brunson 40. And OG only had 11. So, we really can't pinpoint it. I think a lot of fans would love... I would love for him to be averaging over 20 in the playoffs. I don't know if it will happen just because there's games like this where it will really be someone else that's feeling it and will step up offensively. So we really don't know.
How was the vibe there when because Bogdanovich has actually started to pick it up a little bit recently, right? Like the last 4 or 5 games, it's like he's got more accustomed to coming off the bench, and he's talked about it. He's been a starter his whole career. He's finally coming off the bench and getting used to it. Like when he was first here, even up until 3-4 weeks ago, so like early February until like late March, he shot the ball. You didn't think it was going in. recently it's been feeling like it's going to go in more and more. So did you in the crowd feel that same way today? Like you were actually excited when he put it up instead of being like, oh, damn?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, not even just tonight, but from the past few nights watching him on TV. I like the shots that he's taking, and you can clearly see now when he takes his shots, he looks so much more confident in it compared to when he first put on that Knick uniform. And obviously he just went through some awful games shooting wise, so he looks more confident. When you're looking at a player shoot and they look confident, you're happy they're taking that shot, even if it doesn't go in, if it's close, if it hits the rim, that's fine. You just want them to look comfortable out there and to take the right shots because, smart shot selection is really important for this Knicks team. It's going to be important in the playoffs. There's, I don't even know how to just explain it, but I want smart shots.
Agreed. Open catch and shoot opportunities. I want Brunson in the paint and like to dish from there. Tim Savage goes, any update on Mitchell Robinson? He was injured and cannot return. I'm reading it now. Stephen Bondi goes, Tibbs was told by the medical that Mitch Robinson was unavailable for the second half, which explains why we ended up seeing Precious. And I mean, obviously we all think Mitch Robinson is a better center and player overall than Precious Achiuwa, but Precious Achiuwa helped us win that game in overtime. Straight up. So
yeah,
I'm hoping Mitch ends up being okay. He has 7 days now. He has until next Saturday to get healthy and get rest with his leg and ankle that's been bothering him, and he got surgery on obviously throughout the year. But while that sucks to hear, it didn't seem like he didn't go back into the locker room. He was just sitting on the bench, which usually indicates it wasn't that serious. And we did see Precious Achiuwa have major moments, a couple blocks, a little putbacks in overtime. No less,
dunk was
win this game. The putback dunk.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, really got the garden going. I was recording that, and in my video, it's just like, you guys called him a bum, and he's proving everyone wrong. I have to keep saying it, even though he has been struggling the past few weeks. He hasn't been the best. Like, you have to say that, and you have to admit, you kind of wonder where that OG Anunoby, who was playing like 40 plus minutes, and like was getting like double doubles, went, but tonight was huge for him in those certain plays.
Henry goes, why is Mill sitting in the 300 section for all the coverage this account gives the Knicks? Mill, do you want to tell Henry and everyone how you got the ticket today?
Yeah, so I actually won it in a giveaway from, Master Locks. I believe that's their Instagram account. But yeah, so I want it. I'm happy. I just want anything. Like, it doesn't matter really where it is. I'm just glad I was able to be there.
We're happy you went to. And honestly, you always seem like you're having a great time. You record, you do great content, so it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, and I got a bobblehead, which is pretty cool.
That's right. It was Jalen Brunson bobblehead day. Do you think the head size matched the body like all the Knicks did?
It's funny. It's funny because bobbleheads are supposed to be bigger, and I just know like every single Knick is just going to go after him on that and just say that actually looks like him because his head's bigger, but I don't get it. Like, the forehead comments.
I think his head is just meant to help him. What up, Eddie? I think his head is just meant to help him draw fouls. Honestly, is it big head? He gets hit in the head. He had 12 free throws today. They actually blew the whistle. So call that contact, man.
Yeah. Huge
we have
for him tonight.
11 to 12 is solid, no matter what time of game it is.
Yeah, and the late game ones, I mean, they were clutch. You never know because he isn't always consistent with it. Especially there's been some other late games where he's been one of two or he's missed a few. But making those tonight were really important.
Facts. We have 412 in the watching us right now, 378 on Twitter, 34 on YouTube. Anyone on YouTube, make sure you hit that like button, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Anyone on Twitter, we always appreciate it. If you ever want to come over to YouTube, it helps us grow the channel, all that good stuff. We are doing a sale right now. So we have on the bottom ticker, 15% off all merch at bignickenergy.com. Promo code thank you at checkout. So to make sure you type thank you before you buy everything. All the prices are already cut off between 20 and 25% between our hoodies and t-shirts. Make sure you type in thank you at the end. It gives you an extra 15% on top of that sale. We're doing it basically all this week. Thank you to the Knicks for getting the 2 seed and 50 wins again for the first time since 2013. From us as fans, thank you to you guys, the community, following us on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, etc., helping us grow. Thank you for every other Knicks content creator, because this really is a universe. This is a community. We're not quite Marvel, but we're trying to get there, you know? And every little bit of us, that we all help each other. We help each other enjoy and cheer for the team we love. And we will all give each other and give the Knicks way better and more positive feedback and content than every single person on ESPN or TNT, except for, thank you, CAA Woj and Big Kendrick Perkins.
Great speech.
Just go to Big Nick Energy, you know? Just go to the website.
No, but what you said is so true. Like, I had a little bit of a argument on Twitter about it too with, I'll say, another Knicks content creator or whatever. But like, as Knicks creators, Knicks personalities, whatever, like, it's our job to show how good this team is, to uplift Jalen Brunson, to uplift everyone that's on the team. You know, and you know, we can call them out. That's fine. But I think that like, I don't want to specifically say what I saw, but I'll just say, as our job, we're supposed to really shine light on how good this team is, because really,
and they are good. They're good right now.
Yeah. And we know, because the people that are on national media in big media outlets won't do it. We already seen it. They really disrespected Jalen Brunson so many times. So if they're not gonna, you know, explain how good he is, show the stats, show the highlights, Big Nick Energy and every Nick content creator will.
Abdul Chima goes, I commented while you guys were discussing before, quickly stopped by and loved y'all for a couple minutes on Instagram. That if only Instagram actually like really got embedded with StreamYard so you could see Instagram people on here. Emmanuel quickly watched us for a couple minutes, apparently.
No way.
That's what we're being told. And the thing is, we're never staring. We have Instagram up. You and I never look at it while we're on here. So if Abdul says it, I'm not gonna discredit him.
That's crazy. Is there a way to save the live so you can see?
On Instagram, I have no clue. On Instagram, one of us would have to go on our phones and basically screen record and then just kill all of your phone battery and memory and then see what happens afterwards.
Yeah. Does he follow Big Nick Energy?
A lot of them do. Like, we know Josh Hart does, obviously. Isaiah Hartenstein does. I think RJ did for a while before Vin crapped on too much. Kendra Randall does. I know Julius Randall's wife does. So there's definitely a couple guys that do. I know Alfred Payton used to when he first started, before he started using
what I crap account. On, man.
Finn, you didn't have to respond, man.
Say my name. Say my name.
Oh my God, guys, we have a producer in the back, and I'm sorry you had to hear it.
I know Quickly's probably not here anymore, but I really appreciate Quickly. If you did stop by, that's dope.
E. Gibson goes, Barkley and Shaq both predicted we'd lose to Indy in the first round, except now we're the second seed. So, two things. I want to ask you about the other matchup first, and then we will finally get into, because I wanted to wait till 20-25 minutes before we ask about Miami versus Philly. So now it's Indy Bucks, and I'm pretty sure Indy beat the Bucks either 3-1 this year on the matchup, and we've seen even recently against the Knicks, but just in general, like the Bucks even lost today in a game they had to win allegedly.
Yeah,
this team is not good. Like, the Milwaukee Bucks are not good. Giannis is hurt. He didn't play again today. Like, is a team led by Dame Lillard, Bobby Portis, and Brook Lopez better than a team led by Tyrese Halliburton and Pascal Siakam? No shot.
I don't think so.
Do the Bucks even get it to Game 7? Like, I don't see them winning 3 games against the Pacers.
I mean, this is just like Dame trying to carry all over again, like how he was in Portland. And I don't know if that can happen again. I mean, he's older. I mean, he did it. Like, he tried his best for as long as he did in Portland, but he's also not, like, he's averaging 24 in the season, but I would say he's not the best version of himself this season as well. His field goal percentage is down. I believe it's like 42%.
He's never played on a team that he was the number 2 option before. He's been used to having the ball all the time.
Yeah. His 3-point percentage is down. So he's not even the best version of himself right now. If Giannis is hurt, that's an issue. So, you said it. Can Dame really lead a team with Bobby Portis, Brooke Lopez, Chris Middleton? Is he hurt or something?
To mention Finesse. Unless Middleton got hurt today, he literally played 31 minutes. I mean, they weren't good 31 minutes, obviously, because they got waxed by like 20 points, and he had a plus-minus of, I think, he had a team worst minus 25, Chris Middleton. So he might as well have been hurt.
That's
like their starting lineup without Giannis, right? It's like it's Chris Middleton, Bobby Portis, Dame Lillard, Brooke Lopez, Patrick Beverley. This is like the 2018 All-Stars. Like that's like if the Clippers weren't as good with age and players. Like that's not a second round team. What does it matter who they played, whether they play the Pacers, the Heat, or the Sixers? Like the Bucks should be underdogs going into any matchup.
Yeah. And I don't know much about Giannis's injury yet. Have they revealed more about that?
They haven't said anything beyond a calf strain, but there's 3 levels of calf strain. They haven't said which level it is. Like it could be a grade 3 and then he's done. It could be a grade 1 and he could, in essence, be back game 1 or 2. But they're purposely leaving them in the dark, much like we were left in the dark for Julius Randle for so long. Like it's probably going to get to game 3 and they're like, oh, by the way, we're down 0-2. Giannis is done for the year. Like, come on.
And similar to Randle, I think he's going to try his hardest. He's going to try his hardest to actually, we don't know how severe it is, but he is going to try his hardest to get back, in play in the playoffs.
I just hope this dude doesn't end up pulling a Kevin Durant, coming back from a calf or a thing, and then it's Achilles tear and he's done for next year. That's like Giannis is one of the best players in his prime right now.
Yeah.
Bill, do you want to get to it? Him. It does suck for him. Do you want to get to it? We've had enough people ask.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh, the comment?
Yeah.
Oh, Nostalgic Nick said now it's either Sixers or Heat. And I already know how you feel about this, but you can go off.
For everyone that doesn't know yet, I'm looking at Yahoo Sports right now so I can paint the picture a little bit, right? The Miami Heat play at Philly Wednesday the 17th at 7 p.m. And the winner of this game plays our beloved New York Knicks in MSG in the Garden. If there's a single Boston Celtics fan here, I can't believe you guys call TD Garden the Garden. That is a load of crap. Like historically, it's not even about basketball. MSG was literally built and existed first. There's wrestling, there's PBR, there's circuses, there's monster trucks, there's basketball, there's hockey. It started in like the 1910s or some shit. Like, I can't believe you guys thought to just literally name your thing and call it the Garden when you could take a train from Boston to Manhattan. But that's not the point of this. I just wanted to get that out there.
They're called the Mecca too, because they don't call themselves the Mecca.
No, they don't. But when you tell them about the Garden thing, they try to be like, oh, well, our Garden has the banners. We have the rings. Like, go F yourself. It's not all about basketball or sports, man. The Garden was the Garden before even basketball existed. The Heat are 4.5-point underdogs against the 76ers, which I'm assuming obviously bakes into the fact that they're expecting Joel Embiid to play, even though he got hurt on Friday in the first half. He came back in the second half. Yes, they won the game. But then he didn't play today in what in essence should have been a must-win game, because if they were waiting for the Pacers to lose, they would not even be in the play-in right now. And then the Sixers would have the fun thing of being able to knock out the Milwaukee Buck, Doc Glenn Rivers-led team of failure and stupidity. But I digress. Mill, I know I want the Heat. I don't even care. I don't care if Joel Embiid is hurt and done for the season. I don't care if Kevin Love might be out, which whatever, it's like their 6th, 7th guy. Kevin Love, Haywood Highsmith, like Caleb Martin, just whatever. Anyone that's not Bam, Jimmy Butler, Terry Rozier, Tyler Hero, and even Tyler Hero. You could throw Tyler Hero with all the role players too. Insert, etc. BS crap Heat player. I want them to get destroyed. I want the Heat with all of my heart and soul to burn like their name indicates, like heat. I want it to go down like fire. Like their fans suck. They're the most aggravating people. They don't even exist.
You get me hot, Joe. You get me real hot over here.
Don't sell out playoff games. Last year, I was in Miami during the playoffs, round 1. They literally were hosting game 3. You could have bought tickets for $86 on game time. $86 for a playoff game. They don't even show up until there's 4 minutes left in the first quarter. I can't believe that this team, like Miami shouldn't even have sports, man. You go to Miami, you don't even know sports exist. It's full of crap. I want Jalen Brunson to just show Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo that he is above and beyond by far the best player in that series. I want Eric Spoelstra and his high and mighty big brain man dark mega mind BS crap and all of his great out of bounds plays and all of his crazy 2-3 zones into a box and one, into a man to matchup zone, into a man to man, all within 2 possessions. I want it to go down and burn to the ground. If we take the Sixers, I mean, for the love of God, Embiid doesn't even do that well against the Knicks. He's hurt all the time. We'll put OG on Maxey, and we'll beat them 4-2. I don't really care. I want to destroy the Miami Heat.
I respect it. I respect it a lot. I feel the rage. I do, especially from last postseason. I want revenge too, but I think they're a dirty team. I don't know if I've said this publicly, but the Heat are a dirty team. And
the dirtiest.
The dirtiest. It's a part of their culture. I'm sorry.
We're not even talking about how bad they smell.
Yeah. It's that heat. It's that heat. It's always hot down there. It's whatever.
Hey, Joey, what they smell like?
I don't want to do it. Mill, just keep going.
But I'm torn. I'm torn between wanting to get revenge or choosing the safe way of playing against the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, obviously, we don't get to choose. It's the outcome of that game. Who would I want to play? Probably the 76ers. Because I told you, I don't want anyone getting hurt in that first matchup, first round matchup. Having people's ankles get sprained, whatever it is that Bam Adebayo does. That matchup with Philly, obviously Embiid is back. Is he at full strength? I don't think he is, but he's still putting up numbers. He's still putting up big numbers for his team. It's tricky because he is a playoff dropper, so his points will always drop in the playoffs. But the past, I'd say I have to look it up. Ever since he came back, what do you think he's averaging around? He's not. I don't think he's averaging 30, 34 like how he was in the regular season. He's probably 20, somewhere in the 20s. Yeah.
Embiid, you mean? His last in April. 1, 2, 3, 4. He played 5 games. He went 24, 7-6 in his first game, 29, 4-3, 30, 12 and 1 with 8 turnovers. Wow. 37, 11 and 8, and 32, 13 and 7. So he's back to his 30 and 10 stuff. But
okay, well, he will drop.
We gave him 30 and 10 in January. This dude is 2-2 in the last 2 years against us. I think he's 3-5 in the last 3 years against us. We play Joel Embiid well. Isaiah Hartenstein and Mitchell Robinson, yes, this dude is going to get 30 and 12, no matter what. The thing is, if you make him take more shots to get to 30 points, you foul him less to get to 30 points, it takes the rest of the team out of the rhythm. And I'm just not, Tyrese Maxey can also put up 30. They had 60 points between the two of them. And then still, am I worried about the rest of the team scoring 50 more points? Today against the Nets. And Embiid didn't play. Tobias Harris scored 21, which, let's be real, we've seen Tobias Harris more often than not. If he's covered by OG or Josh Hart, he's not scoring more than 15. This guy literally has podcasts, and just look up any Sixers anything online and just type in Tobias Harris, and it's 95%. Why is this guy on our team? Why are we paying this guy so much? Why didn't he show up? What kind of third option is this? I can't get this guy off my team. Trade him for a bag of chips. Trade him for a used bed. Trade him for a tampon. They want him off. They don't like Tobias Harris on there. And he's finally a free agent. He's not going to be on the team next year. He gets to finally leave. Kelly Oubre, cool. Like, he has some highs, he has some lows. He's pretty good defense. It's just like they are all they're all Maxey and Embiid, and Embiid is hurt again in the playoffs. Unfortunately, we might literally never see Joel Embiid be 100% healthy to get to the point of where he's at. We might never see it. And for what it's worth, like, there's a lot of teams in the East that Embiid would be able to bully and would be able to do. I'm definitely not. I actually think this is Ben because he said hi as his very first message, and now just as New York forever. I'm definitely not worried about Paul Reed or campaign at all. Like, Buddy Hield comes off the bench. Yeah, he can score 15, 20 points. He also gives up 15 or 20 points to everyone. Like, imagine Buddy Hield and Bogdanovich trying to cover each other. They're both just giving up open threes on one another. Like, what are we really? The Sixers are a worse version of the Knicks, just their best player is a center instead of a point guard. But if you go through all of the other positions, the non-superstar positions, you would take OG over Harris. You would take Hart over Oubre. You would take DiVincenzo over, Kyle Lowry really can go, who knows, honestly, based on his age at this point. But I would just take the majority of the Knicks over the majority of the Pacers or the Sixers that are not Joel Embiid, and he's hurt again.
Yeah. I agree with you. Like, there's a lot of players on the Sixers that ultimately I'm taking our Knicks over. They're better. Joel Embiid, obviously, you can't really argue that. But defensively, there's ways to stop him. There's ways to limit him, and we know he has a history. He has a past of not always just performing the best in the playoffs. I just said it. He's a playoff dropper, but what can we expect from him in this year's playoffs after just coming back? I mean, clearly he's putting up the big numbers. You said he literally had 30 plus recently. But can he do it in the playoffs? Can he actually do it? Where obviously the intensity is on a whole different level. And if he doesn't do it, who's going to step up for him? Who's going to step up? It's not Tobias Harris.
No, it's all Maxey. You're relying on Maxey and then Kelly Oubre being like the irrational confidence J.R. Smith-like guy.
Maxey is a great guard, but I also think there's ways to limit him to, like, with our defense. I would say we have a lot of defensive weapons on our team, especially for Maxey.
We'll come back to the Sixers in a second. We got a $4.99 super chat from Madison Square Garments. Thank you, appreciate it. Do you think the Cavs cheated today by pulling their starters? So, Mill, I know you were at the game, so you didn't, and we talked about it a little bit before that you didn't actually see. Like, you didn't know that the Cavs lost until they actually announced it over the loudspeaker. So the Cavs lost 120 to 110. Going into the fourth quarter, they were winning 96 to 88 against the Charlotte Hornets. So they're up 8 going into the fourth, and then they got outscored 32 to 14 in the fourth quarter. And the lineup they ended up with was with Peter Nance, who's not Larry Nance. It's Pete Nance, who I don't know who that is. Amani Bates, their second-round rookie, who's been in and out of the G League, like promising scorer, but like has to work on his game. Isaiah Mobley, as in not Evan Mobley, his brother Isaiah Mobley. Who else was in this lineup? I think they had Max Strus out there for a little bit, and then one other player that I am trying to... Oh, Tristan Thompson. That is not a lineup that you have in a closing game to try to clinch a 2 or a 3 seed. And so what I'm confused about for this, I don't think the Cavs cheated. I think you're allowed to do whatever you want. They were already in the playoffs. Maybe they thought Mitchell or Garland or something was like going to get hurt, or they were worried about something. Like, I don't really care. Like, Garland didn't even play. Literally, they didn't even play Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Sam Merrill, Mitchell, Spider, and Dean Wade. So 5 of their 9 rotation guys didn't even play today. I think Dean Wade actually is hurt in general, but oh, no. Oh, it says he probably will be for the playoffs. They don't know. So Dean Wade's maybe hurt. So 4 of their 9 didn't play today at all. And then they just did not finish with Jared Allen or Evan Mobley or Okoro or even Craig Porter Jr., who I don't know. I don't think that's cheating. I just think they were like, we got this far. We don't the Bucks are gonna lose to the Magic, and maybe they just didn't want the 2 seed. Maybe they are scared of something because last year the
Wait,
Knicks bumped
so
them.
if they had won and we had won,
They could have
what
gone to 3 because they own the Bucks tiebreaker. So if they won today, they would be the 3 seed. And if we lost, they would have been the 2 seed.
that's really interesting. Wow, they pulled their starters for the fourth
Which
quarter.
wasn't even their starters. It wasn't even all their best players anyway. They had
Oh.
Allen, Strus, and Mobley, and they didn't have Allen or Mitchell or Garland play today.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's pretty interesting. The fact that they didn't want the 3rd seed. I always thought you'd want to get the higher seed, but that's crazy.
Why would they? I wouldn't want Orlando is rookie defense team and Indy is rookie offense team, but by them doing this and choosing to stay in 4 instead of moving up to 3, they just chose to stay in Boston's bracket. And if you're trying to convince Mitchell to stay, let's say you even beat the Magic, right? Let's say you beat the Magic 4-1, 4-2 in a convincing, okay, got the monkey off our back. Maybe we can make Allen, Mitchell, Garland, and Mobley work, even though 2 ball handling guards and 2 center bigs isn't the smartest thing to do. Maybe they move to the second round. They're losing to Boston 4-1. Straight up. Knicks fans that want to convince themselves that we're going to be Boston, call Boston soft. We know the Cavs are soft. We've seen the Cavs be baby aspirin soft. Why would you not move up to 3?
That's such a good point too. One thing we really wanted, why we wanted to move up to 3 and 2, which we have now, is to just take the best pathway because of how injured we were, because we were entering the playoffs without Julius Randle. We thought this is our best shot if we can get, if we don't have to face Boston until the Eastern Conference Finals. They're not thinking like that because, clearly it would have been they would have taken today's game differently.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't have a real answer for it. I don't think it's cheating if a team wants to the Maverick. Honestly, just to go through some of the other scores in case no one knows how crazy and stupid some of these were for not playing guys you need to play. The Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Dallas Mavericks today 135-86. They won by 49. Another one we got was the Pacers beat the Hawks 157-115. They beat them by 42. And then the other giant difference was the Sacramento Kings beat the Portland Trailblazers, who admittedly have been in Miami or Cancun for about a month now, 121-82. So they won by 39. So 3 games were decided by over 38 points today. I'm not going to really complain that the Cavs chose to do what they did. It just, I wouldn't have done it. I think it's stupid, but it is what it is.
I'm just glad, we actually took this game very seriously. Tibbs let the starters do what they do. I wasn't sure. Part of me thought that Brunson was going to sit that fourth quarter because he didn't come in until around 7 minutes left. And I was thinking they're just going to start resting him now. But that wasn't the case. We really fought hard for this. They really wanted their 50th win. They wanted that 2nd seed.
Yeah. Going through some of the comments, I'm not going to scroll all the way back up, but I want to just go from where the super chat was. Brian goes, no disrespect, but I'm taking Lowry come playoff time as a backup point guard over anyone we have. Deuce is going to be there though. Now that we are to the postseason, I think we can pretty much anticipate, as long as knock on wood, Brunson stays healthy, he's playing 40 to 42 minutes a game. So for those 6 to 8 minutes, Deuce, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart taking turns handling the ball. Bogdanovich brings it up some once in a while. I'm not too worried about that. I do think Kyle Lowry obviously is a better backup pure point guard than Deuce McBride, but not.
Kyle Lowry was annoying in last year's postseason.
Noted
he
Knicks
really,
killer.
really got on my nerves.
He sucks. I mean, he's good. He's good. He's really good, but he sucks.
I feel like he shot so well in our playoff series against them. I have to look back at the percentages, but it seemed like every big three they needed to hit, they hit it, and it was him hitting it. Or, I mean, he just got on my nerves. And rebounding, there were so many times where the Knicks would grab rebounds, and because he's like so small and short, he would just be able to knock it out of their hands, and that pissed me off. So I'm not looking forward to facing Lowry if Philly wins.
He's a really smart player. He's really wily.
Yeah, he's smart. I mean, he's been in this league so long. He knows what to do.
And if you're that small, if you're like 6 foot and you're in the league for 15, 20 years, you stayed in the league that long by being not only really skillful, but really intelligent.
Yeah, definitely.
JJ goes, Maxey and Embiid are better than any duo we have.
We don't really have a duo. Like, I mean, like, Randall and Brunson's our duo, but clearly Randall's hurt. So, basketball's a team sport.
I want to ask you a different question because I want to include OG and Brunson and OG being our duo because one of them is like all offense, like one of the best offensive players in the league. OG is one of the best defensive players in the league. Do you think OG Anunoby is better at defense than Tyrese Maxey is at offense?
What is he averaging? 25?
Yeah.
That's so hard to compare defense and offense. But I think OG's like one of the best defenders in the league. Is Tyrese Maxey one of the best players in the league? I don't know if he's top 10, so I would say OG's defense is superior.
I agree because I think OG is like a top 5 to 7 defensive player, and Tyrese Maxey's like a top 40 to 50 offensive player. So, so maybe you can consider that Brunson and OG are better than Maxey and Embiid if you just don't weigh the offense as much.
Exactly.
I'm gonna try to go through some of these quick. It seems Knicks fans are scared of Philly and Miami. I do want to address that in a second. If Bird wasn't hurt, we would be if Embiid wasn't hurt, we would be the 2 seed. I ain't black, I'm OJ. Wild name. I'm assuming he is a Sixers fan. I know when Embiid got hurt, you guys were fighting for the 2 or the 3 seed. This might be true, but now you're in the 7-8. So Alonzo goes to the Cavs thing. Teams load manage like crazy this time of the year. Almighty Finesse goes, I wanted Kyle Lowry from the buyout. Lonzo goes, Lowry's 38, come on. AP goes, shout out to the Hornets. They win when we needed them to. Cleveland got cocky. I really just think they tanked. I don't even know if they got cocky. Steven, what up, man? Thanks, the first time seeing your name here. Thanks for listening. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. That goes for everyone, not just Steven. Hit the thumbs up, like, share, all that good stuff. We're around 600 people right now. Glad we have home court for the first and second round. I do want to say, back to the Milwaukee thing, once the Cavs lost, I don't know if I personally would have tried my ass off or like kept coaching for the win in overtime like the way they did. I might have literally put in my backups because this goes back to what Milwaukee is as a team. Whether Milwaukee was in the 2 or the 3, I don't think they're getting to the second round. So I think the Knicks probably would get home court in the second round, whether they ever the 2 seed or the 3 seed.
Yeah. I mean, I'm really glad we have it just automatically, but I agree with what you said.
I skipped down a little bit. Kev Lowe says, work smarter, not harder. If we're serious about trying to make the championship run, we would have taken that 3rd seed. So are you upset or worried? Not worried. Are you upset at all that we have to play Miami or Philly instead of Indiana?
Not really, honestly. Like, I think you've said this before, but I'm just not really scared, like, of those teams that seriously. Like, I'm not taking it that seriously where I really wanted the Pacers because it'd be easier. I think that each of those could be an interesting matchup, a unique matchup for different reasons. I'm not really upset that we didn't get the Pacers. I mean, you said it before, like I think you said like you were hesitant about facing the Pacers just because, I kind of agreed, like, I don't know.
The pace is a lot to deal with. I get they're
Their
bad at
pace-
defense. It's just a lot to deal with.
Yeah. And I feel like if they were to just get the momentum, like every other team, if they were to just get some momentum, like that would be deadly, I think.
I think we're gonna see it. Like back to the Bucks thing. I think we're gonna see it straight up.
I mean, Tyrese Halliburton might just like magically come alive offensively in the playoffs. I don't know, like he was in the beginning of the season.
I think anyone that starts going off, like I think they're gonna start with Hart or Dante on Tyrese, but I really think that if Tyrese starts going off, they're just gonna throw OG on him. Vin, I don't know. Oh, Vin's trying to troll me personally right now. So I'm not that worried about it, honestly. Like, and I know Tyrese Halliburton's a better overall player than OG Anunoby is. Or do I know that? I care about defense a lot more than most people do. So I don't know if I'm really willing to admit that. Say the Sixers do win against the Heat, right? And then we play the Sixers, and then all of a sudden Tyrese Maxey is only averaging like 18 and 5 on bad efficiency because OG's his primary defender, and OG is averaging 18 and 5 on good efficiency because he doesn't take a lot of shots. Is anyone going to say then Tyrese Maxey's a better player than OG Anunoby? No, we're going to have a playoff experience of that's not the case, and it's not going to show that. Pacers have a top. Lonzo goes. Pacers have a top 5 offense. Defense don't win championship, but offense goes far. Dionel goes. If you look to play smarter, you're playing to lose. Back in 13, Knicks fans wanted Indy, and they lost in 6. Just deal with the cards dealt. I agree.
Just deal with the cards dealt. I love that. We need to put that on a shirt.
Just deal with the cards dealt. Hey, we have a do shirt. By the way, everyone, if you look at the bottom, above my head says shop now, bignickenergy.com. If you look at the ticker on the bottom, 15% all merch right now at bignickenergy.com. Promo code thank you. Thank you to the Knicks for getting the 2 seed. Thank you for getting 50 wins. Thank you to all the players in front office. Thank you to everyone that's been tuning into BKE, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere else since the beginning. This has been our biggest year as a Knicks content entity so far, and we made the promo code thank you as a thank you to all of you guys as well. We have 624 in the room right now, 40 on YouTube, 584 on Twitter. Much appreciated everyone tuning in and listening. Mill, before we get off, do you want to fly through the other matchups real quick? You want to give any? Yeah, the rest of the league, what they're looking at so far, and do you want to give any final takes about like what you're really looking for? Who do you really want, the Sixers or the Heat?
I think I'm still torn. Like, do I want revenge? Of course. And then, everyone in the comments, I keep hearing it again, like Sixers can become deadly because ultimately they were meant to be a 2/3 seed in this league this season. That's what they were meant to be. We're at that right now. Can they become that in the playoffs? Can they become that team again now that they have Embiid back? I'm not sure. Am I scared of it? No, because I think we can handle literally whatever challenge comes our way now. We have one of the best defenders in the league. We have Jalen Brunson, who is our MVP leading the way. He is a better guard than Tyrese Maxey. Someone said you can't put OG, Jill just said you can't.
That's not true, by the way. We literally watched in January OG cover Maxey and Embiid on like multiple possessions each, and he even makes Embiid struggle a little bit. I'm not saying he stops him. No one stops Joel Embiid, but for a guy to only be 6'8" and not be 7 foot, he harasses Embiid very well. And I work for CBS Sports. I'm actually at work right now. In case anyone doesn't know, don't tell my boss. One of the things they were doing on CBS Sports HQ was trying to explain how the Knicks didn't are in a bad spot getting the 2 seed, and again, the national media fodder, LOL Knicks, we're gonna pick either team against the Knicks, whether it's the Heat or the Sixers. They're already planning on picking against the Knicks. For the national thing, I would love for the Sixers to go against the Knicks because then everyone's going to see what we as Knicks fans have been able to see for the past couple of years, that the Knicks do very well against the Sixers and Joel Embiid, and it's happened over and over and over again. And I think OG would be on Embiid for quite a few times with switches and possessions and stuff like that. And I don't think he's going to do that well. I don't think he's going to do as well as people think they do. Brian says the same thing. OG can't guard Embiid. Go on NBA.com and look up the offense defense player stats. You can actually look it up. He
He's
doesn't
been
shoot that well.
guarding him since he was a Raptor. I mean, I was just editing a video the other day, putting some OG highlights together. Like OG and Embiid have some history. I've seen OG guard him before. The video was like fighting. So
Because
like
the Raptors used to play 5 guys that are 6'9" at the same time. It didn't matter who covered who.
Yeah. But he's definitely guarded him before.
Yeah, again, no one fully stops Joel Embiid. No one. He's going to get 30 and 10 somehow. But if you make him struggle to get the 30, if you don't foul him and you make him make shots to get the 30 instead of letting him be the center version of a free throw merchant, then your team's going to win the game.
What's really going to annoy me is the refs, because we know he has a good whistle, and if they're just out there clearly trying to give him foul calls, it's going to annoy me so much.
So you want the Sixers though? Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. We disagree. Let's go. We don't disagree that often. I'm excited. Because, I want the Heat solely out of payback, not because I think it's an easier matchup. I think the Sixers are an easier matchup.
Yeah.
Mill, like Ric Flair said, even though Ric Flair came at Alan Hans tonight for God knows what reason, to be the man, you got to beat the man. And I want to beat the damn Heat.
That's true. Beating Miami would set the tone for the rest of the postseason. It would be crazy.
Then if you're there, do you want to reconnect Instagram or let it rock? I don't really care either way. He'll come back in 5 minutes after his 12th White Claw. So, Mill, to go through, I think we have a Suns fan somewhere in here. Champy went Suns versus Knicks finals. The Suns making it out of the West would be pretty wild. I did hear a wild stat today. So one of the matchups out West, the Suns are in the 6th seed. The Wolves are in the 3 seed. The Suns are 14-2. It's either 13-2 or 14-2 against the Wolves in their last 15 games. So
wow.
For the Wolves to be the 3 seed, this might be the absolute worst matchup they could have gotten.
That might be rough.
Is that? Me telling you that, how unbelievable is that stat?
That's crazy. And I'm gonna assume you said 13 or 14-2.
It's a lot in 2.
Oh, the 2 didn't come this year though. I mean, like it might have, but still,
they're 3-1 against them this year.
I would be scared if I was a Timberwolves fan.
Not good. I think the most evenly matched up one, which actually was the first matchup set, was the Clippers Mavericks. Clippers are the 4, Mavericks are the 5, so Clippers have home field. A lot of people are picking the Mavericks because of Luka Magic and just thinking.
Oh, that's a good matchup.
What do you think?
Ooh, that's really good. Wow, can the Clippers finally do it this year with Kawhi, PG? Wow, I don't. Oh. I'm taking the Clippers. I'm taking the Clippers.
You are. You're taking the old man group.
Yeah, I am. I still have some faith in those older guys. Luka, I mean, clearly he's one of the best in the league. He has Kyrie now, which is huge. They're a pretty good duo. But didn't they? I mean, they're good this season, but last season it was a different story, and I don't know. I'm not convinced yet, but we'll see if he can really lead that team with Kyrie.
We're gonna be on again. For everyone that doesn't. I mean, I'm telling you this now. We're getting an official sponsor starting tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern till 10 p.m. Pacific. So we will be on again a couple more times before the playoffs actually start. So we'll probably, Mill, if you are able to, we could probably make official predictions Wednesday or Thursday, but I don't want to predict all of these yet. I just want to go through them real quick. So I don't want to personally say who I got for Clippers Mavericks because I honestly don't know.
I think it really depends on the health of their players, because someone just said that they're unsure if Kawhi will even play. So yeah, it really depends on the health of Kawhi, PG, because obviously we know last season They missed. It was PG, right? He missed the postseason.
Kawhi played
So
2 games too, and then got out.
yeah.
Kawhi's good. Kawhi is in right now. Like he didn't play the last couple of games, but I think it's because they already had the 4 or 5 locked up, and they wanted him for the playoffs. He's been resting for the past week,
Okay.
so he should
Yeah.
be good. I mean, again, this is the load management king. He's kind of the reason why we have load management rules now.
Yeah, but Tibbs will never do any load management.
The
So we don't have to worry
2-7.
about that.
The 2-7 for the West, it's the Nuggets are the 2 seed. The 7, the Lakers actually beat the Pelicans today to make the Pelicans go from 6 to 7. So then the Lakers beat the Pelicans in New Orleans today, and now they're actually going to play again in New Orleans on Tuesday. So they don't have to even move. It's literally like
Oh,
a
wow.
double series. I think the Lakers are going to make the 2-7 Lakers Nuggets, which if that's an indication of last year, the Nuggets swept them in the Western Conference Finals.
You see
And
that happening again?
not a sweep. No. I think they would take 1 or 2 games. I think they would take 2, but I do think the Lakers are at least going to beat the Pelicans again. You want to hear LeBron's stat line today?
Sure.
So the Lakers won 124-108 in New Orleans. LeBron had 14 assists in the first half. He ended up with a 28, 17, and 11 triple-double with 5 steals and a block.
Oh my God. That's insane. That is incredible right there. I mean,
this man is 39 years old.
Look at what he's doing. But that amount of assists is wild too. I mean, just look what happens when, his shooters actually make shots.
Crazy.
He passes the ball extremely well. They just have to make their shots.
On the contrary, Zion Williamson put up 12, 8, and 8 with 4 turnovers and was a -21.
Yikes. 12, 8, and 8.
Almost that Josh Hart triple-double. Zion Williamson doing it, not that good. Josh Hart doing it, fantastic. Just
amazing.
The difference in level of player,
Yeah.
It's when one guy's an ultimate role player and the other guy's supposed to make all NBA teams. It's just funny how that works out. And then the 9-10 is the Warriors Kings for them. I think the league wants to get to Lakers Warriors somehow, but they're just not going to do it because I don't see the Lakers losing to the Pelicans. So let's put it this way. I'm gonna just insert Lakers in the 2-7, and I'll give you the other 3 teams. Which one of the 3 do you think would be the most likely to give the Thunder and the 1 seed a run for their money? The 10 seed Warriors, the 9 seed Kings, or the 7 seed Pelicans?
That's oof. I don't know if anyone can give the Thunder a run for their money. I mean, they're just that good, but who could come close to it? I haven't watched enough Kings games to know if they're actually good, because you know what happened last postseason, they got swept.
No, they lost in 7 to Golden State.
Oh yes, they in the first round, right?
Steph Curry had the first ever 50-point Game 7, and then 2 weeks later, Jason Tatum broke his record with a 53-point Game 7.
Yeah, but last season, the Kings were like a top seed in the West, though, weren't they?
They were a 3 seed. Yeah, they lost 3-6 to Golden State. Alonzo does make a good point. This is Zion's healthiest season ever. That is 100% for sure. I think he played almost 70 games this year. He actually qualifies for an All-NBA team. I don't know if he'll make the 3rd team or not, but he does qualify, which is the first time in his career he's actually played that many games. So good for Zion, good for his health, his fitness, conditioning, not trying to get ramped up into the season. It's a real thing, man. If a young guy has a kid or has a girl pregnant, it can be a positive motivation for someone to get their life together in a way that just being a multimillionaire 23-year-old, you couldn't do otherwise.
Yeah. I think I'd say the Warriors. Even though Steph Curry's older, can he lead his team to possibly come close or just make it a competitive series against OKC? It's likely, but I take OKC still winning that series.
Yeah, I do want the Pelicans in there. I'm kind of sick of the Lakers and Warriors, and I know the Lakers are probably going to make it. They would have to lose 2 games to not make it, and for the Kings to have to beat the Warriors and then the Lakers to knock out both of them, like, I think we've seen enough conspiracy theories from the early 2000s to know the leagues and the referees would just not let that happen. I'm sorry, Sacramento fans, and I'm sorry for anyone else that's sick of LeBron and Steph Curry like me. Like, the powers that be is not letting De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis in Sacramento make the playoffs like this. I want to see the Pelicans, though. I think the Thunder Pelicans would be fun. They're both young teams overall. Obviously, the Thunder are younger. But one of the biggest things that people say that they worry about the Thunder in the playoffs is like size. And I just think it would be fun to like have Jonas Valanciunas try to body up against Chet Holmgren and then have Herb Jones try to cover SGA because Herb Jones is one of the guys. Like I always say, it's Herb Jones, Jaden McDaniels, and OG Anunoby, like the three best wing defenders. Have SGA just deal with a guy like that for a whole series would be entertaining. Zion played 69 games. Nice. 69, and the season starts on 4/20, baby. By the way, guys, Ben said this looks like a blunt. I just want to make that. It's my headphones, though.
Joe. Stop it, Joe. It does not look like that.
Joe.
That's what you told me, man. You lied to me. My black and mild headset. So I would say the Pelicans. Mill, to go through the rest of the East, we talked about the Bucks, Pacers, ad nauseum. We might have talked about that more than we talked about Knicks anything, honestly. Cavs Magic. What do you think?
Cavs Magic. I would probably go the Cavs. Magic are really inexperienced, and you've mentioned that before. At least the Cavs have some experience from last year. Maybe they'll learn from their mistakes. Maybe they won't get out rebounded this time in the first round by Josh Hart because obviously they're not playing the Knicks. But yeah, I'm taking the Cavs.
By the way, Kev, I don't know if you're talking to me or talking to us or the chat, but we also don't want the Warriors to keep going. I think the Kings do deserve some glory. The Kings fans are one of the longest suffering fans to go with us. So I do agree that they do deserve to make it. I just don't think the league wants them to make it. For the, what is one good thing, Mill, for the Cavaliers and Jared Allen in particular?
What?
I don't think he's going to say that Orlando's lights are too bright.
That's funny. That's really funny. Yeah. Maybe he might actually show up this time.
Maybe.
And then maybe they might knock out the Celtics, so we'll see.
What a goddamn miracle that would be.
So that we could beat them, just sweep them, because we're dominant.
If we had to go through the Sixers or the Heat, we have to go through either one, obviously. But and then we have to go through the Bucks and say Giannis is actually doing well. Giannis and Dame are just they beat the Pacers in 5, then all of a sudden it's oh damn, the Bucks are back. Look at this, they finally put it together. And then in the Eastern Conference Finals, it would be the Cleveland Cavaliers. That would be so funny. Peak hilarity funny.
Yeah, it's probably not happening, but dream situation for us.
I think the Cavs are gonna win. I think it goes 7. Honestly, I think this is a real give and take kind of thing. And I don't see Orlando. Orlando had a good home record this year. What were they at home? They were 29-12. And Cleveland had a decent away record, 22-19. But I just don't see Orlando having the ultimate home field advantage. I could totally see Donovan Mitchell taking over a game 7, and then just getting swept by the Celtics. Honestly.
Yeah, that's something I could see too. I could see Donovan Mitchell going off because obviously it was a different story with our playoff series. Jalen Brunson was really Jalen Brunson went off mainly in the Miami Heat series, but our Knicks team overall just played better than them. I could see Donovan Mitchell going off though. I mean, he is capable of that. He's done that out west when he was on the Jazz, and he has the experience. He has the capabilities of taking over if he chooses to.
King Joe, who is not a Knicks fan, obviously, the Knicks aren't beating the Sixers or the Heat. I don't know who King Joe is a fan of, but I know he hasn't watched the Knicks and Sixers play each other in the last 3 years. I'm excited. I'm really like for the narrative of like nationwide NBA fans and like non-Knicks fans. I do want them to like for them, not for me. I want them to see Knicks Sixers and then just be like, oh damn, Joel Embiid playoffs happened again. But
Yeah.
who for the Celtics in the one? Who do you think they want to face less between Philly or? Oh, you're a Heat fan. That makes so much sense, dude. All right. Well, I get why you would say the Heat aren't. We're not going to beat the Heat, but the 76ers are not what you or I think they are. Who do you think the Celtics want to see less?
Between the 76ers, the Heat, or
I'm not going to even count the Bulls or Hawks. Just those two.
Yeah, same. They would probably want to see the Heat less.
It's got to be, right?
Because of what happened last season.
Yeah, they've just been having so many battles recently. And like again, to the 76ers thing, it's very I think Embiid could obviously dominate Porzingis. Like Porzingis doesn't handle bigger guys, like not taller guys. Like Porzingis is usually taller than everyone, but like just like wider, bigger guys. Well, we've seen Porzingis struggle against Embiid, Jokic, Sabonis at times. Like he just doesn't handle muscle as much as he handles length. I don't think the Celtics want the Heat. And I actually, part of me thinks like the more and more we talk about this and I think about it, like I could totally see the Heat just not putting their A game into this Philly game and like kind of wanting the Celtics again.
That'd be wild. I mean, they're setting the script up if they do that. I feel like they'd want to face us though. They'd want to face us. Because
we are the weaker of the two teams. And objectively, I know a lot of Knicks fans are going to come at me for that, but objectively, like to the outside.
Heat fans are very confident against us.
The Heat fans are just confident in the playoffs. They cheer for a team that doesn't care about the regular season. Their favorite player said he doesn't care about the regular season. They've made the finals 2 of the last 4 seasons. They've made the conference finals 1 of the other 2 seasons. Like the one time they lost in the first round, they lost to the Bucks when the Bucks won the title. Every other year they made the conference finals since 2020. It's just the regular season is a joke to them. I'm pretty sure the Heat saw that the 9-10 got made and they were like, we will never try again until April.
That's crazy. And I don't know what I was reading, but I saw Heat. I think it was probably Twitter, something on Twitter. And I saw some Heat fans commenting on it. They were upset. It might have been like after a Heat loss or something. They were just upset. And I saw someone comment, either they said get rid of Jimmy Butler, or they were just going off on how, the Heat need to actually take the regular season seriously. It's interesting that some fans feel that way because like on an outsider perspective, NBA fans, we know that's what the Heat does. That's what they do, is that they turn it on in the playoffs. But it's interesting to see like when their actual fans think, that they should play better in the regular season too. I mean, clearly, you as a fan, you wouldn't want your team in the play-in, but the Heat themselves as a team, as the players, they don't take it too seriously.
Hey, Alonzo, I just want to say we support any and all views. I know he's a Heat fan watching a Knicks podcast, but we are potentially going to play him. We support any and all views. Anyone that's a Celtics fan, Heat fan, Pacers fan, Laker fan, if you hate the Knicks, come on over here and tell us you hate us because we still get the view count. If you want to send a super chat saying I hate your guts for $20, I will take all your 20s and all your hate, man. I just want to throw it out there.
Yep.
I'm going to read from these down, and then we'll try to wrap up. Stanley goes, the Celtics won't put Porzingis on Embiid. It would be Horford or Luke Cornett. Porzingis starts, and they have the death lineup, so Porzingis would at least start at Embiid. Maybe throughout a lot of the game, it'd probably be Horford. Wait, I don't think Luke Cornett's even going to be part of their playoff rotation, but AP goes, I don't know why we... What'd you say?
Former Nick.
Former Nick, Luke Cornett. The Cornette jump, the fake block from 10 feet away has got to be one of my favorite things in the NBA.
He invented that, it's really funny.
Yeah, the Cornet block, it doesn't block anything. He does block your view of the basket because he's so tall and he's blocking it. I really want someone to just like put together like the last 100 Luke Cornet blocks for the past 4 or 5 years and just say what the field goal percentage is on those. Because if it ends up being like 25% or something, that's like a move for everyone to do that's over 7 feet tall.
Yeah, that's a strategic new technique that they're gonna use. I mean, not just him, but everyone else in the league.
Imagine Wemby just doing that.
I think I saw some other players doing it. I don't know who it was specifically, but I saw a few other players, doing the Luke Cornet block.
I love it. It should be a wide thing. AP goes, I don't know why we've beaten them, as in the Heat, more than they've beaten us in the playoffs. It's because the Heat take the playoffs seriously, and I don't know. I'm not saying AP believes this, but I know between the Knicks throw him in and like talking to a lot of other Knicks fans, a lot of people get upset or pissed when you like suggest, and then by suggest I mean like other players say they do this. Suggest that their players don't try 100% all the time. Josh Hart, Deuce McBride level in the regular season, Tom Thibodeau coaching level in the regular season. And then they'll say that the teams that don't try their asses off like that every game in the regular season for some reason are soft or they're not mentally tough or strong, which doesn't make any sense. Like, that's literally the only time I ever hear that. And it's, again, I talk to mostly Knicks fans, obviously. It's just like the most ultimate of Nick homers trying to rationalize why they're going to beat a team that's better than them or the team that they end up losing to. Like, we lost to the Heat last year. I picked the Heat. I picked the Knicks. You picked the Knicks. We all picked the Knicks to win. But then it's like the Heat turn up the playoff intensity. Like the Heat try as hard in the playoffs as we do in the regular season, as a lot of Tibbs teams do. This is always the bad thing about Tibbs, which I don't think he does anymore. Or I don't think it's nearly as prevalent that like he wears his guys down anymore. Josh Hart be damned. I'm sorry. But like, we're like, if you lose to a team and they're like, oh my God, they were the 8th seed. Why do they beat us? It's like, it's a normal thing to not try as hard until you absolutely have to. Like, I used to do sales mills. I know I've told you this. Like, if you hit your sales goal in November for the year, you're not trying in December almost at all. And it's like that for like a lot of things in life. It's not just sports or sales or anything. If you hit your goal or you accomplish or you're coasting to doing what you're doing and you know there's a ramp up period that have to do it better, you're going to do it better then. You're not going to try your ass off 365.
Yeah.
How much more do you try harder when you have an ultimate test than, or if you were in school still, like you try harder for a test than you do for homework, right? The Heat think of the regular season as homework.
Exactly. That's very true.
So I think that's why they've beaten whoever they beat in the playoffs, and we beat whoever we beat in the regular season. You have 3 minutes. All right, let's fly through this, guys. We're about to sign off because Mill's computer is about to die. Oh, everyone's just talking shit to Joe Robinson. Who, Joe, again, appreciate it. If you want to just throw $20 at us for saying you love the Heat or something like that, I don't care. Yeah. Everyone like, share, subscribe, and comment. Hit up our website, bignickenergy.com. Promo code thank you. Thank you to the Knicks. Thank you for 50 wins. Thank you for all of you tuning in and listening to us. Thank you for following us on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, etc. Mill, you have 2 minutes before your computer dies. What are you thinking?
I'm feeling very happy after witnessing the Knicks' 50th win today. I'm going to say I'm confident. After witnessing what I did today, witnessing Jalen Brunson put a 40-piece on the Bulls, I'm going to say I'm very confident.
Franchise tying 40-piece.
Yes. And I don't care who comes our way, whether it's the Heat, whether it's Philly. Obviously, I wouldn't want the Heat. You guys know why. But I don't care who comes our way. At this point, I know the Knicks are going to try their hardest. Again, like we're still shorthanded. Remember that. Remember that if things don't go our way, if we look like we're not putting up enough points, if Jalen Brunson's having an off night, remember we're still shorthanded without Julius Randle putting up 24 a game. But I still do have a lot of hope that we can make it far. 100% think we should make it past the first round. We're a 50-win team. We got these 50 wins for a reason. We would have got more, if we didn't have injuries.
Joke, man. Stop asking for super chats. He's not going to give you ears here to talk trash. It's a joke.
It's a joke, guys. But yeah, that's all I have to say.
Let's go Knicks. Brunson's going to average 35 and 8 against whoever he plays. OG's going to shut down Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey and Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero and Jimmy Butler all in the same game. 2 separate teams, 1 player, 1 game. I don't care. Knicks 2 seed, 50 wins. Check out our shop. Like, share, and subscribe. Let's go Knicks. Everyone have a great night. Peace.